They laughed at her. They whispered behind her back. They told her she would never be good enough. But years later, those same voices would cheer her name. This is Emily's story. Emily grew up in a small neighborhood where everyone seemed to know everyone else's business. Her family was quiet, private, and not particularly wealthy. She didn't wear the latest clothes, she didn't own the newest phone, and she didn't hang out with the popular crowd. From the time she was 9, Emily noticed the stares. When she walked to the small corner store, groups of boys from her school would smirk, nudge each other, and laugh as she passed. "Look at her shoes," one of them would say. "She probably picked them up from the garbage," another would joke. At first she tried to ignore it. She kept her head down, walking faster. But over time, the constant mocking began to carve deep lines in her confidence. At school, things weren't better. The same boys from the neighborhood sat behind her in class, flicking paper balls at her back, whispering cruel nicknames. Some of the girls joined in too, eager to be accepted by the loudest voices in the room. Emily stopped raising her hand in class. She stopped sitting in the cafeteria. She started eating lunch in the library, hiding between the tall shelves of dusty books. One afternoon, when she was 14, something happened that would stay with her forever. It was the school's annual sports day. Emily wasn't on any team. She was too afraid of making a mistake in front of the others, but she volunteered to help keep score for the events. As she stood by the track, holding a clipboard, one of the boys from her street, Jason, called out loudly, "Hey, Emily, you gonna run too? Or are you afraid your old sneakers will fall apart?" The crowd laughed. Even some teachers smiled awkwardly. Emily felt her face burn. She wanted to disappear. That night, she cried harder than she ever had before. Not because of the joke itself, but because she realized that no matter what she did, they would always see her as less. And that was the moment something inside her changed. Emily decided she wouldn't spend her life trying to fit in with people who treated her like she didn't matter. Instead, she would focus on herself. She would work silently, away from their noise, until the day came when they would have no choice but to see her differently. Her first step was academics. She began spending every free moment reading math, science, literature, anything she could get her hands on. The librarian noticed her dedication and began giving her extra books, sometimes even letting her borrow materials that were usually off-limits. Her second step was personal growth. Emily joined an online public speaking course, using a borrowed laptop from a neighbor, so she could learn to speak confidently without shaking or stammering. The third step was health. Every morning before school, she went for a run in the park. It wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about proving to herself that she could be disciplined. Years passed. Emily rarely interacted with those who had mocked her. They barely noticed her anymore, assuming she had faded into the background for good. But while they were busy chasing temporary popularity, Emily was building something stronger. By the time she was 17, she had won 3 regional essay competitions, taught herself basic coding, and created a small app that helped organize study schedules, become confident enough to speak in front of hundreds without fear. Yet she kept her achievements to herself. She wasn't ready. Not yet. In her final year of high school, an announcement was made. The school would host a community talent and achievement showcase. Students could present projects, give speeches, or display anything they had worked on. Emily signed up without hesitation. When the night of the event arrived, the gymnasium was full. Parents, students, teachers, all packed together under the bright lights. Emily stepped onto the stage wearing the same calm expression she had practiced for years. She introduced herself, then began presenting her app, a tool designed to help students balance academics, extracurriculars, and personal time. She spoke clearly, confidently, showing how she had designed it, coded it, and tested it herself. The audience was silent. Not because they were bored, but because they were listening. When she finished, the room erupted into applause. After the event, several students approached her, congratulating her on the presentation. Among them were the very boys who had once mocked her relentlessly. Jason, the one who had humiliated her at the sports day years ago, hesitated before speaking. "Emily, I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I didn't realize you went through all that." Emily simply smiled. "It's okay. I learned a lot from it." And she meant it, because she had discovered that the sweetest form of revenge wasn't revenge at all. It was success. From that day on, people looked at Emily differently. The biggest revenge is